Hey guys, it's the Married for Life channel. Hope by the time you get this video, it'll be Wednesday. And hey, we didn't get you a video last week, and let me explain why. We were on vacation. I recorded the Husbands for Life, and then when I tried to upload that one, it was taking forever. So decided that I wasn't gonna upload it. So because it was taking too long because of the Wi-Fi up there. So we didn't record a Married for Life while we were on vacation. We decided, hey, we're just not going to. Then I thought about, well, we'll double up this week. But you know what? I doubled up for the Husbands for Life. And honestly, I think it's going to be hard for you to watch two at a time. So we're not going to double up for the Married for Life one. I apologize for not having one last week. I know most of you are sad. I know right now some of you are shedding tears. And I don't know if April's going to double up with the wife one. That's her decision. But we're not doubling up for the marriage one. So today we just wanted to talk about the importance of having solid friends, solid believers in your life, couples that will hold you accountable, couples that will speak truth into your life, being transparent, speaking truth into each other's lives. So April, we're going to share a little bit about that next week because it's, for most of you, your kids are starting school August 25th. We're going to spend some time on kind of like a checklist. We're calling that video next week Back to School. A checklist of what maybe to be praying for your child as they start a new school. Some tips and some advice that April and I have done with our girls. I know some of you are crazy from probably this week on, next week. You're back to school shopping, all kinds of different things that are happening because summer is coming to an end. I know it's sad, but it is. Some of you who are not in the Anaheim school district, who are outside, don't go back to school till after Labor Day, so you get a little extra time, which is awesome. But anyway, let's dive into today's topic. The importance of having accountability in couples who will speak truth into your life. So lead us off, April.
So I was just hanging out with a couple today, and they were saying how much they miss having couples that they can just kind of hang out with and do life together. They feel like at their life group, it's great when they're together, but however, when outside the time that they meet, they don't really feel like that they can do that with each other, and they're kind of missing that. And so as I was talking with them today, and I was praying with them about that, I come home and I get a knock on my door, and I start laughing because it's our friends, and they're holding ice cream, and say we came to bring ice cream, and it's 9:30 at night. Not expected, they just came by. And so I feel like we need that just as human beings. We need to be able to have people around alongside us, which is really hard when I know when we first got together trying to find couples that we liked. So I remember hanging out with people going, I really like the husband, he's real kickback, wife's high maintenance. I don't know if I can do that. Or it being the opposite, where the wife is awesome, but the guy's a complete knucklehead. And so you're looking at him like, really? Why? So I understand it's a hard thing. It's kind of like dating. You kind of date each other, see if it works out. And then you invest in each other's lives. And it really does pay off. It doesn't come easily. It's something that you have to work towards in building a relationship. And so it's not for the soft of heart. Keep going for it.
Which is
growing pains.
Which is one of the reasons why, and you guys have heard me say it on Wednesday nights, stressing on get beyond the simple prayers of pray for my cat who's got a bad eyesight, pray for my dog who's got a limp leg, and get beyond the surface things in your life. And you guys have heard me stress that over and over because we believe it's so important, and it's biblical. One of the things that when we started Married for Life that we wanted to resemble was the Church of Acts. In Acts chapter 2, where it says that in Acts chapter 2 verse 42 and on, it says that they went from house to house, that they broke bread, and that they would sell their things when they saw that there was a need in someone else's life. And I'm paraphrasing, that's not word for word for what it says in Scripture, but that's the picture of it. And that's one of the things that we, myself, April, the Ramoses and the Bouvets really wanted to make Married for Life. That we would get to a point with people that's what we did. The Church of Acts. See, church on Sunday is great, and I'm not knocking the church on Sundays because it's awesome. It's great to have the teaching. It's great to have the worship and the big community. But I believe what God intended His church to look like is the Church of Acts chapter 2. That we would care for one another, and that we would sit down and have a meal together, and that when we see somebody struggling financially, health, that we would come alongside each other and say, how can we help? What do I need to sell that belongs to me to help you out right now when you're in need? Because there's going to come a time when we're going to be in need, and that is going to come back to us. You know, and April and I are testimonies of that. When I got laid off, I mean, for 2 years, I know it was people from church funded us and helped us pay our rent and help us put food on our table. And we're forever indebted to those people, and we love them, and they're our closest friends, and they did something for us. But you know, if it wouldn't have been for that community, I don't know that we'd be where we're at now. So that's why we always are stressing the importance of that at your tables, in your groups, that you find those friends that you can be that Acts chapter 2 with. You know, I know one of the reasons why this couple who showed up at our house this evening, you know, many of you have read my Facebook or Instagram or have heard through the grapevine that a dear friend of mine, Pastor Gil Garcia, went home to be with the Lord on Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. after battling leukemia for over 3 years. And I know that they read that post, and they know how close he was to me. So I believe that was probably why they showed up on my doorstep. But again, that's Acts chapter 2. When we see someone who is hurting, that we come to them, and not to their rescue, but that we come and say, "Hey, here we are, brother. Here we are, sister. We're here. We're here to cry with you." But it's not only when things are bad; it's also when things are good. I remember when Ashton was born. I'm going to tell you the people that were in a room, other than my mother-in-law and my mom. It was the Hamaguas, the Ramoses, the Bouvets. They were in the room the very next few hours after Ashton was born. And they were there, and we were rejoiced together. There's been times when we've cried together. When Steve's father passed away a few years ago, Albert, myself, and a few others, we were there with Steve when his dad passed away, till the very last moment he took his breath. But that's what church is about. I believe that's what God wanted His church to be. So we want to encourage you that you would find those couples that can come alongside you. And at the same time, when you're struggling in your marriage or you need some marriage advice, that you can reach out and they can come alongside you and call you out. As you've heard April and I talk over and over about this, is having people who will speak truth into your life. Not just agree with you, but call you out as well. And like April said it's like dating. And that's how kind of April and I treat a lot of our friendships. I remember the first time it happened with the Ramoses. It was on a Christmas at the old, well, it's not a House Hut no more. It's the Black Bear Diner now, off on Orangethorpe and Knott. It was I think it was Christmas Day. We met for breakfast with them. And that was a defining moment in our friendship with the Ramoses, because we went from just being church attenders, church goers together, to the relationship that we have now. But that was a defining moment. If you guys go back to a few studies ago, for those of you who were part of it, I forget what it was called in the Not a Fan.
DT, determine relationship?
The DTR. Defining the relationship in Not a Fan. Well, I believe that happens too when you have either individual friendships, it doesn't have to be something that, girlfriend or boyfriend, none of that. I think it also happens with the relationships, the DTR, defining the relationship. And that's what happened with the Ramoses and us. It's happened with the Bouvets and us. It's happened with the Ramoses and us. And I can go on the list of some of the people that it's happened. But maybe that's the time, maybe right now is where you have to DTR, define the relationship with some of these couples, and be honest. April and I have had conversations with couples in the past where we say, look, we love you, And this is the kind of people we want in our lives. We want people who will call us out when we're wrong. We want people who will speak truth into our life. We want people who will hold us accountable. And if you're willing to enter into this relationship with us, we're in, and that's the kind of people that April and I are. And we have had people who kind of get like, whoa, that's a little too much for me, a little too scary, and that's okay. We still talk. We still, I wouldn't say are great friends, but we're acquaintances and we're friends or whatever. We'll have lunch or whatever, but we're not like BFFs. But then there are those people that we have those conversations, like the Ramoses, the Bouvet, the Hamaguas, the Shellhorns, and a few others. And it just, that's what they know who we are, and that's the kind of people they want in their lives, and they are the kind of people we want in our lives.
It's funny because this all started because I was watching Melissa and Joey, which is, a real biblical show to watch. And
it's not.
It's not.
It's not. Don't
They're
watch
living
it.
Together. And so they were on a search.
My wife's a heathen.
For finding a couple.
I'm sorry.
They were on a search for finding a couple that they could be able to trust and that could be their couple. And so their go-to couple. And so that's how it all started with me even just thinking of that, which is they're not anything having to do with the Bible. Anything doing, it just means that's the way God created us, to be able to have those friendships. And so even to be able to look at something retarded like this show is a great reminder of we need to be able to have that. And so being able to have someone that you can, I know there's been times in our life where I just vented and just hated my job. And at one point they let me vent for as long as I needed to, and they're like, okay, now what are you gonna do about it? And they let me vent as much as I could, and they were like, okay, now it's time for you to be a big girl and put your big girl pants on and choose joy and figure out what you're gonna do.
And, I think going back to the Bible, when we look at the very beginning of Genesis, we read in Scripture that God saw that He made man, and it was good. Then He made Eve, and it wasn't until He made Eve that He said it was very good. And not because the women were very good, but because God understood something from the very beginning. He first made man, and man was alone. But then He brought Eve, and now man was no longer alone. Because I believe God designed us to have that longing for companionship, not only with each other as husband and wife, but with friends in our lives. We do have a deep longing for those relationships that are deep and genuine. So I want to really encourage you and challenge you that if you don't have those kind of friendships, that maybe you begin to pray. And this is the way I would want you to pray, is that you would pray that God would bring some people into your life who you can have that genuine relationship with, those friends. I would highly recommend a couple. We do have maybe one person that we consider a really good friend who does a lot of the stuff that we talked about, and that's Victoria Peck. But other than that, most of our friends are all couples. I think it's just better that way. So find those couples that you can have that deep relationship with, and I know that a lot of those couples are sitting right in front of you on Wednesday nights at your tables. Maybe it's your table leader, maybe it's the couple to your left or to your right, maybe it's the whole group. And if you know what, I know your leaders do a great job of trying to do the get-togethers and all that stuff, and maybe you've been kind of the person on the outside. Well, they're having this get-together, I'm not really going to do it. I want to challenge you that next time your leader plans an event, that you make it your priority to go and invest not only in the people's lives, because trust me, they're going to invest back into you, and it's going to have a deep reward and a deep payoff. And you may not see it now, but trust me, there will come in a point in your life. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you're going to need them around you, whether it's a hardship or a joyful moment, but you're going to need them. And you guys have heard me say it, don't do this Christian life as a married couple on your own, because I don't believe it's going to work. It's going to be hard for you to do. Like I said, I believe God had wired us this way, and it's intended for us to have companionship. Jesus Himself had his three of all the disciples. He had 3, then he had 12, and then he had 70, and then the masses, obviously. So even Jesus Himself had his 3 close guys that He was always with, and then from that it went to the 12, and then from the 12 it went to the 70. So those are all biblical concepts, all biblical that we can take from Scripture and see that, hey, we all, if Jesus himself and God who created us, all the same person, saw this deep longing for us to have companionship, then why do we sometimes, as married couples, try and do life all on our own? You guys who've been at Knott Avenue and attend Knott Avenue have heard us say we don't want you to do life alone. We want you to do life. We want to do life together. Acts chapter 2 again. Read it. I want to challenge you. Read the last few verses of Acts chapter 2 and start praying that God would bring some of those people around you. But again, don't try to just pray. You have to put some action to that prayer, and maybe you're the one who's going to take the initiative and start, maybe reaching out to some couples. You can reach out to April and I, email me, comment down below, whatever it may be, and we can get you connected, whether it be with us or somebody. But again, don't do life on your own.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, we will see you next Wednesday. Hey, just a quick reminder, this Saturday, Newport Dunes, it's the family kind of beach day picnic. Bring your food, bring your chairs. We're providing some kayaks and some paddle boards. It'll be a fun day. We'll be there from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. $10 for parking. We would love to see all of you guys there. Bring the kids, bring your cousins, your neighbors, whatever. Again, it'll be a fun time for us to just hang out as we kind of come towards the end of summer here. I'm excited that summer is ending and the fall is picking up. We got a lot of great things happening, and we'll share more of that as we get closer to the kickoff. Again, guys, we will see you next Wednesday. Have a great night. We will see you guys next week.